right on top of PEF Baltimore coming up in about 2.5 months on September 8th through 9th. Pretty exciting time, and this whole marketplace is kind of redefining itself and retooling itself. And I think it's got a real, benefit marketplaces have a real role to play, and so we're excited about, having the community come together with us on September 8th through 9th. I wanted to take a minute and really, Ryan Howell's the Executive Director of Private Exchange Coalition, and we are working on kind of a positioning for our events and our exchange initiatives, and it's going to actually be part of our opening keynote at Private Exchange Forum. And I think it really communicates to the market that maybe doesn't understand exchanges or where technology-enabled, benefit distribution platforms are going to evolve. And as all of us know, we're really still at the beginning of this market, and it's really redefining itself. Employers are trying to figure out if it can or cannot work. There's a lot of misassumptions out there. Frankly, there was a lot of marketing hype around exchanges the last couple of years. Brokers are trying to figure out how this becomes a good tool for them in their practice to run. Health plans are embracing exchange and figure out how they compete not only on their own with their own exchange, but how they compete in exchanges. But I like how Ryan kind of was breaking down kind of an employer roadmap and the other stakeholders really understanding exchanges. And we kind of came up with Private Exchange 1.0, Private Exchange 2.0, and Private Exchange 3.0. I think this really clarifies where we're going. Right now, a lot of us are in Private Exchange 1.0, and that's transaction focused, and that even is focused on where innovation and technology can help administer, enroll, and deliver your benefits, and begins to move into kind of multi-plan selections, begins to embrace decision support tools, begins to look at provider selections, and has some of the basic choice, primarily around initially voluntary and supplement. So it really focuses on how employers and those working with them really help enroll better their employee population and their families, and really deliver their benefits a lot more efficiently. And then you look at 2.0, and a lot of companies are 2.0, and some companies go 1.0, 2.0 together, and 2.0 really starts to get into benefit and plan design. That's where companies may execute a defined contribution strategy, where you have a multiple choice, HRAs, where you see a more robust voluntary, supplemental, where you start to involve transparency and make transparency, where wellness starts to come into the equation as part of an integrated, delivery model and integrated care model. And then 3.0 gets pretty exciting when we think about, and Ron, I know you spend a lot of time on this, in our total space, but when you think about care management and care delivery, when you think about the evolution of, direct contracting networks, of employers setting up their own networks, what is the role of these benefit platforms on delivering care and helping manage care? And so from direct contracting to price transparency to consumerism, et cetera. So, I think this clarifies, if I'm an employer out there, says, wow, so if I take the first step and improve how we administrate our benefits and maybe do some basic initial choices, I don't have to be all in, but what's my end goal? Because if I'm building a 5-year benefit plan, where am I going, Ron, right? I mean, what's my direction? Yep. Where am I heading with this? So that's kind of our messaging, Ron. Any comments from you?
Yeah, no, I think you've laid it out very well. I think that at the end of the day, employers are going to be asking the question as they look at the possibility of exchanges, what does it do for me? What does it do for my department in administering the benefits that I have to? What does it do for my employees? What does it do for the family members? Does it help in any way? Is it any different than if I did it without an exchange? And I think the technology is probably misunderstood as to the growth and advancement of the technology, the platforms underneath it. I think, and you start to lay out the, sort of the generational, 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 options. I think the thread throughout those, as I see it, is that employers are already moving towards healthcare consumerism, choice, options, convenience, different delivery systems, different product offerings. And I think that's throughout there. But I think as you move along in that spectrum of the evolution for exchanges, at least I see the connection more clearly between healthcare consumerism that we've been talking about and the exchange and the technology to deliver that. The technology is developing, but I'm not sure that the employers understand that technology and the exchange opportunity is another way to maybe more efficiently in their organization deliver those benefits. And so I think it all kind of comes together. And if somebody wants to find out and learn about exchanges and what they can really do to advance maybe a strategy that's already in place about moving towards healthcare consumerism, I think just the mention of the companies that you already introduced in this program today, major companies like Aflac and Optum, which is a subsidiary of United Healthcare. Just two examples of the big major names in this industry that have the capital, the know-how, the marketing to be able to develop the issues that we're talking about with exchanges. So if an employer wants to answer those basic questions that they're going to have about the pros and the cons and the winners and losers and the effectiveness and alternatives to exchanges or exchanges as an alternative to what they're doing today, this is the conference to go to. I know that you're not promoting exchanges because your whole idea of IHC is to bring together all the information, both the good, the bad, and the ugly that might affect an employer, because there's no one answer for everybody. But the people who would find that benefit, I think, are going to find the answers in this Baltimore conference that you put together.
Yeah, and to really help the market come together, all stakeholders has kind of been our franchise with IHC. It's our franchise with Private Exchange Forum. Come together to listen to each other, to listen to the experts there, and to figure out what it is or what it isn't. Because, as we kind of close this first segment, is that, with all the marketing hype that was around exchanges, I think there was a lot of misassumptions, and I know some employers have already pulled back based upon those misassumptions, not based upon what it can or can be. For example, Aon does a great job, but they told you if you weren't on fully insured, you couldn't be an exchange. Well, that's false. I mean, that's just not right. It doesn't mean Aon's model isn't good for some, but a emerging marketplace is really about, if you think about it, it's not only about moving to more choice for your employees and their families, but it's about an employer choosing how to execute whatever benefit plan strategy, benefit plan design strategy they want to choose. And when you look at this roadmap, it's about saying, hey, I'm starting here, and almost run like we did with HSA high deductible consumerism. Everyone didn't jump all in and add telehealth and add transparency and add all these things. Most of them moved in and they put an HSA and high deductible plan in place. The PPO and HMO was still in place, right? I mean, they're walking before they run. It's the same thing with an exchange environment. You take the first step and improve benefit admin, improve innovation around the front end, maybe add some basic choice, and then you're evolving eventually to a more robust benefit delivery platform, a more robust platform that even provides care delivery and care management. So again, as you just said, if you really want to be in the game and understand what this can be or cannot be for your 1, 2, 3, 5-year plan, if you're an employer, if you're a broker, how this can help your employer clients, how this can help your practice, TPA the same, health plans the same. That's why you need to join us in Baltimore on September 8th through 9th. This is going to be the discussion. This is going to be the theme. You can sign up by going to privateexchangeforum.com. The early bird rates are in. So we hope to see you in Baltimore. And